Hello, basketball people, we have news. Let's go to more news about the Golden State Warriors. I ask you to give a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, as I am a Warriors fan. Could RJ Barrett be a solution for the Warriors? Yes, he is a great player, athletic, strong and a scorer. Barrett is a decent defender and could still improve, but he is a versatile scorer, capable of scoring in a variety of ways, including three-point shooting, free throws and finishing near the rim. A 6'6" 7 Canadian wing taken as a top 3 pick, you could be forgiven for thinking simply of Andrew Wiggins. Yet that description could also apply to another player who, like Wiggins, may become the perfect reclamation project for the Golden State Warriors. Rumors are surging on the future of Toronto Raptors wing RJ Barrett, with speculation the Canadian native may have already played his last game for the franchise as they gear up for a big swing on the trade market this offseason. The Warriors could try and buy low on RJ Barrett. The Raptors appear keen on heading north in the standings after 3 straight playoff absences, having recently been linked to a potential shock move for former Warrior forward Kevin Durant. Within Jake Fisher's report on the Stein line last week, confirmation that Toronto could establish RJ Barrett's $27 million salary as a key element to any forthcoming salary cap math. As was recently discussed on the latest episode of the Light Years podcast, this could provide an underrated opportunity for the Warriors to sneak in on Barrett as an undervalued young player still full of potential. Whether it would be as a third team in a multi-team deal or in some other trade scenario, Barrett could follow the Wiggins path at Golden State as a previous top draft prospect who turns into supplementary star. Just like his fellow countrymen, Barrett has a lot of the same tools Wiggins showcased early in his career with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Barrett is an athletic and natural scorer, but may ultimately find his best role as a more supplementary piece who subsequently improves his efficiency and uses his physical gifts to a greater degree on the defensive end. The former third overall pick averaged 21.1 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists with the Raptors this season, shooting 46.8% from the floor and 35% from three-point range. They're solid numbers by any measure, particularly for a team like Golden State who are on the look for a third scorer to support the veteran duo of Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. Barrett's jump shooting has come and gone over his career, but in fairness so too had Wiggins before he became a reasonably consistent perimeter threat with the Warriors. Barrett's over 40% shooting on corner threes over the last 2 years would raise some optimism in that regard, especially playing alongside Curry and Butler where he could find easier and more open looks. Actually finding a way to match Barrett's $27.7 million deal for next season is easier said than done, but the Warriors could do worse than trying to take a 24-year-old undervalued asset and turning him into their next championship piece. Warriors facing potential $30 million decision in offseason. Steph Curry's injury might just turn out to be some form of blessing in disguise for the Golden State Warriors. The former back-to-back most valuable player winner suffered a hamstring injury in Game 1 of the Warriors' second-round NBA playoff series against the Minnesota Timberwolves, which ultimately cost him the rest of the series. The Warriors struggled mightily without Curry, eventually falling to Minnesota, 4-1, and it just emphasized the need to get this man some help. The result of losing their best player in the Wolves series might just force the Warriors' hand to make a big move in the offseason. They already swung for the fences with the Jimmy Butler deal, and it appears it still wasn't enough. Curry's injury, along with the fact that he has just a few more prime years remaining, could serve as enough motivation for the Warriors to go all out this summer. One player that has already been linked to Golden State is Indiana Pacers big man Miles Turner, who is competing for a championship in the NBA Finals. The 6'11" center is entering free agency this summer, where he is expected to be one of the most coveted players on the market. A new report from NBA insider Jake Fisher has indicated the Pacers remain in the driver's seat in terms of re-signing Turner in free agency. The report also indicated the 29-year-old is expected to bag a massive deal in the offseason. There is a strong sentiment among various league executives that Turner will re-sign with Indiana, Fisher reported. Cap strategists are projecting his salary to land in the $30 million range in terms of average annual value. In 72 regular season games with the Pacers, Turner averaged 15.6 points, 6.5 rebounds, and 2.0 blocks per game. During Indiana's postseason run, Turner is scoring 15.2 points, pulling down 5.1 rebounds and blocking 2.2 shots. Given their salary cap situation, the Warriors won't be able to compete with other teams in free agency. They could, however, still acquire his services via a potential sign-and-trade deal. With the Pacers seemingly determined to retain Turner, the only way he ends up with the Warriors is if Turner is unable to agree to terms with his current team. This could open a window of opportunity for Golden State, but this will force them to make a big decision on whether or not they are willing to give Turner the money he wants. The Warriors will also need to let go of some major assets, potentially Jonathan Kuminga and draft capital, in order to lure Turner away from Indiana. On top of that, Golden State also will need to perform significant cap space maneuvering in order to accommodate Turner's potential $30 million contract. There's no denying that it's going to be a risky move for the Warriors, but considering what Turner brings to the table on both ends of the floor, it could be the type of make-or-break decision Golden State needs to make to contend for a championship in 2026 and beyond. Warriors star Jonathan Kuminga blocks out the noise amid trade rumors. Jonathan Kuminga's off-season decision is going to have a huge impact on the Golden State Warriors. But even though the noise around the Warriors guard is deafening, it doesn't seem to be getting through to him, since the restricted free agent guard has disabled comments on his social media posts. Kuminga has been at the forefront of both trade and offer sheet rumors, since the 7th pick of the 2022 NBA draft is Golden State's most important player without a contract for 2025-26. Unsurprisingly, Golden State reportedly offered him a $7.9 million tender, which means he is likely headed to restricted free agency, where the Warriors can match any offer sheet he signs. Still, the Warriors, who have 10 contracts for 2025-26 and $35 million in space to stay below the NBA's dreaded second apron, may end up losing Kuminga if they choose not match an offer sheet from an opposing team like the Brooklyn Nets. Why did Jonathan Kuminga disable comments? Kuminga went on an Instagram posting spree Sunday by sharing 2 different photo montages of his recent workouts both in the gym and on the court. Yet, when Warriors and NBA fans alike, or anonymous online trolls, tried to comment on those pictures, they were brutally rebuffed by Instagram's privacy policy that allows users to limit or disable comments entirely. Fans who may want to go back in the archive and comment on Kuminga's old posts saw the same message. Even though he is a public figure with a public account, and therefore does not keep users from seeing his pictures unless they follow him, Kuminga also disabled messaging on his Instagram stories too. Maybe Kuminga was getting aggressive messages from fans of rival clubs, or simply wanted to keep the trolls at bay. But if you're trying to reach him, it might be tricky. Why is Jonathan Kuminga so important for the Warriors? Kuminga has had consecutive double-digit point seasons, so his potential free agency is coming at a key time for him. But the Warriors' decision to wait for rival clubs to make their offers then determine if they can match is controlling their off-season, according to former NBA exec turned ESPN analyst Bobby Marks. If the Warriors pull off a sign and trade, they will end up with cap space, or potentially an impact player, that can positively affect their roster. But the sign and trade could also keep the Warriors from acquiring full value, based on some salary cap-related bureaucracy. Only 50% of Kuminga's outgoing salary is used in a trade, not the full amount. For example, if the salary in the first year is $30 million, $15 million counts as outgoing salary and $30 million is incoming for the acquiring team, Marks wrote on ESPN.com on Monday. Golden State is also $25 million below the first apron. It would not be allowed to trade for a player earning more than that amount unless additional salary is included. With the Warriors controlling picks, and with their window to win extended thanks to the Jimmy Butler acquisition mid-season, it could make more sense for the Warriors to let Kuminga walk while targeting a bigger fish, if they can land one. Golden State Warriors fans have requests for NBA during off-season. The Golden State Warriors, along with 27 other teams, are watching the NBA Finals ensue just before the offseason kicks off. Soon, the NBA draft will roll around, followed quickly by free agency and the Summer League. The Warriors will have an actionable offseason plan ready to build around Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. Late in the season, it was made clear that Golden State can build around the trio while competing at the highest level. Still, Warriors general manager Mike Dunleavy Jr. is going to have to make big offseason moves. While the franchise aims to make proper basketball moves like bringing in a big man or adding perimeter shooting, they've also got the opportunity to make identity changes. Jerseys, branding and identity are something fans keep a close eye on. Every team already has a leaked city jersey, which is simply a rumor at this point in time, with nothing having been confirmed. This design mock-up is similar to a past edition of the city uniforms the Warriors used. Still, Golden State fans have a clear favorite and wish for the NBA to deploy once again. They want the league to return the Warriors' classic jersey to their lineup. "I'm saying," one fan responded, giving their stamp of approval. Another fan responded with 3 fire emojis, seconding the motion. Fans across the league often enjoy having a splash of a classic feel in the Rolodex of jerseys each season, complementing the 2 main jerseys and the city jersey. Some teams, like the Orlando Magic, are implementing their classic look into their everyday wear. If the Warriors were to add a classic jersey, specifically the one the fans were raving about, to their lineup, they would certainly receive a positive reaction. The talented role player in free agency. Warriors' biggest free agency threat becomes abundantly clear amid latest reports. And they have more assets. Following their second-round playoff elimination at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves, it became quickly reported that the Golden State Warriors may look at addressing their center rotation this offseason. The Warriors need more offense than what's provided by Tracy Jackson-Davis and unrestricted free agent Kevin Looney, while leaning on a second-year Quinton Post may be too much to ask for a team looking to re-enter legitimate championship contention. It appears obvious that Golden State need to add a center, and ideally a starting caliber one, but their pathway to doing so may be hindered by a young, burgeoning obstacle out east in the form of the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons want to add another big man this offseason. Not content with the talent and potential of 21-year-old lottery pick Jalen Duren, who has averaged a double-double in each of the past 2 seasons, the Pistons are reportedly in the market for another big man. Just like the Warriors, their focus appears to be on adding shooting at the 5 position. Miles Turner is currently plying his trade in the NBA Finals with the Indiana Pacers, with the belief that he'll remain with the franchise that drafted him way back in 2015. However, NBA insider Jake Fisher of the Stein Line reported on Sunday that Pistons are viewed as a potential suitor for Turner as an unrestricted free agent. With Turner's new contract likely to near or exceed $30 million per season, it's unlikely Golden State would be able to get in the conversation anyway. Yet beyond the Pacers' big man, the Pistons could also be a threat to signing cheaper alternatives the Warriors could otherwise get involved in. One area, it seems, that Detroit is evaluating in earnest is the big man market. Mark Stein previously mentioned Naz Reid as a likely target for Detroit. Add Turner to that list, Fisher wrote. I've also heard that the Grizzlies and other teams believe the Pistons could emerge as a possible threat to pursue restricted free agent Santi Aldama as well. Detroit not only have more cap space to sign potential free agents, but also arguably have the better contracts, picks and young players to outbid Golden State in any trade scenario. The Warriors could incentivize prospective targets by claiming they're closer to championship contention, yet even that may not be so strong given the contrasting quality between the West and Eastern Conference. With the Pistons and the Los Angeles Lakers both notably in the market for big men, it will be fascinating to see if the Warriors can do enough to acquire a true difference-making center heading into next season. This would be an amazing pick. As the Golden State Warriors enter the 2025 NBA Draft, only possessing the 41st overall pick following their blockbuster deal with the Miami Heat last season, they must do their best to maximize its value in order to add a useful piece to their rotation. Sports Illustrated's latest mock draft has the Warriors taking Wake Forest guard Hunter Salas with this pick, and, if this prediction proves to be true, this could be a major addition to the roster. With evident scoring ability and defensive presence, Salas could be the ideal pick at Golden State's current selection spot, and the prospect of adding such a player should excite all fans of the team. Hunter Salas could be the ideal draft selection for the Warriors. Salas, after spending his first 2 years on the bench at Gonzaga, transferred to Wake Forest, immediately taking on starting responsibilities for his new program and becoming a major scoring threat in the ACC. In his junior season, Salas averaged 18 points, 4.1 rebounds, and 2.5 assists while shooting a remarkable 40.5% from beyond the arc. According to Kevin O'Connor, Yahoo Sports senior NBA analyst, Salas is a poised, efficient scorer with body control, defensive tenacity, and the passing feel to hint at more upside. An effective at-rim finisher, Salas's scoring package is deep, and, coupled with his ample off-ball movement, he could fit very quickly into the Warriors' offensive scheme. Moreover, despite his 6 feet 5 inches, 175-pound frame, Salas is a tenacious defender, chasing down blocks and cutting off passing lanes, prompting O'Connor to compare him to Minnesota Timberwolves guard Dante DiVincenzo. Yet, his weaknesses, including his inconsistent three-point shooting, have caused a second-round projection for the young prospect. In his senior season, his perimeter shot fell off entirely, as he recorded a 27.7% mark from beyond the arc on similar volume to his junior season. While his junior season numbers may have been a fluke, the rest of his offensive game, including his constant intensity on the court, could still enable him to slot into the backcourt mix with Brandon Podziemski and Buddy Hield before the end of his first season. Last season, he made 52.3% of his mid-range pull-ups, compared to 45.7% of his total field goal attempts, and his strength in that area could supplement a Golden State team that is deficient in the paint and mid-range areas. With players such as Gary Payton II and Pat Spencer possibly being on their way out, the Warriors may be poised to select a guard in this draft, and, if that proves true, Salas could be the ideal selection.